Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Relax Bro. I have a very special guest today. You guys might remember him from the couple episode that we had. That was honestly one of the funnest episodes I've done.
Thank you.
So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, sir?
Okay, I'm Leland Neblett. Live here in Bakersfield. Grew up in Bakersfield for a good part of my life, and pretty much retired here.
You reached out to me with like something I can tell you have conviction about. That's what I think this is. I'm not really
Yes.
sure. I think I mentioned to you off air, I'm not political in any way. I don't vote. I think the whole thing is kind of a sham, and I'm like, I feel like my generation specifically is struggling really bad from decisions that other generations have made. So I am in this completely neutral. I'll just say that as a disclaimer because I don't want to promote any of it, to be honest.
Okay.
But I do feel that you have a passion for what you're about to tell me, and so I would I'm with an open mind coming into this, like hoping that you can change my mind.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, just to let you know how I kind of got into this.
Yes. Sorry.
I'm sure a lot of people remember the 2020 election and the aftermath of it, and the claims of potential election fraud and associated issues, with those claims. Many people.
Do you believe that it was stolen?
I think there was some pretty strict irregularities.
Okay.
And the reason I believe that is the night of the election, I was watching both CNN and Fox News. And at about 11:30 at night,
I'm sorry. I want people to hear you. I just feel
okay.
like. All right.
Hello?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I usually rub my face on it.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
There we go.
So at about 11:30 at night, the night of the election, I was sitting there flipping between CNN and Fox News because I was interested in how both networks were reporting the election results. And at about 11:30, 11:45 in the evening on both networks, it showed the election curve, which was following a very smooth curve upwards with Trump slightly above Biden. And at about 11:30 at night, plus or minus, that curve took a step function. And the curve that took the step function was the curve that was reporting the Biden votes. So it was not a change in the curve. It was a sharp step up. And then the curve continued a normal follow through the end of what the election would have looked like. And as soon as I saw that step function, because that's not normal, you just don't all of a sudden have a boatload of votes coming in for one candidate.
So you mentioned 11:30 5 times in like less than a minute. Why is 11:30 such an important time?
I don't know. It's because I just remember it.
Okay.
I was sitting there watching. Oh, the other thing that did happen, I think it was both networks, but I remember one network specifically saying, because they were then several of the states stopped counting in the middle of the night and said they would regain counting in the morning.
Is it supposed to go until it's counted?
Well, most states will continue counting until they're almost finished, if not 100% finished.
I see that you have kind of like is this so how I'm trying to understand, because like I said, I don't vote. I've I grew up in a punk rock scene. I just didn't believe in it. I feel really strongly that we shouldn't put the rights of our own lives in the hands of another person that doesn't even know us.
Right.
Um, I do kind of grasp the structure of it all, but
Right.
whenever, how is voting supposed to work? What's the what how is it supposed to work?
Well, I mean, the voting. I mean, obviously, people go to the voting booth or mail in their ballots, and there are centers in every state that count ballots, count votes, and that was going on quite normal up until about 11:30. And the only reason I remember 11:30 because it was what I saw was significant to me because it wasn't normal. It That kind of thing doesn't happen. Now you might get a slight change in the curve in a smooth move up,
Yeah.
but not a sharp break up and
Yeah.
then continuing.
And you should, maybe you should share a little bit about who your work and so that people know that you're not just some random.
Well, well, let me finish why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Okay.
So, and when I saw that, I thought to myself, "There's something going on." I had no idea what it was, but I thought to myself, "There's something going on."
Yeah.
And one of the networks, like I said, and then they stopped counting votes for a while. One of the networks, I can remember saying, "Well, now what are we going to do for the rest of the night?" Because they stopped counting in a couple very key states at the time.
These were the electric ballots too, no?
They were all the ballots. They were all the ballots that were being counted for the presidential
Yeah.
election that night.
Okay.
Um, and so, I mean, it was what it was.
Yeah.
And at that point forward, I was skeptical. Let me put it that way. And then I started bitching and complaining about it. And and for about 2 years, all I did was bitch and complain about the way the elections are being handled and held, and so on and so forth. And I finally one day woke up and said, I'm tired of listening to myself. I either need to do something or just let it go
Yeah.
because it wasn't going to change.
Who were
So
you bitching and complaining to?
me,
Yeah, that's what I
myself.
thought. That's exactly what I thought. Yeah, that's exactly why I asked.
Yeah, I mean, occasionally, if friends were around, I would.
Just itching at you. It's just
It was
killing you
it,
inside.
it was
Yeah.
kind of itching at me that it just didn't seem normal. And I've gone back to the internet to see if I could find those curves, and I've never been able to find them. So I don't know what happened to those curves. You would think they'd be available, but they're not. And again, that was a kind of another reason that I finally said either let it go or try to do something about it.
Again, as a person from the outside, I whenever they introduce that electric stuff, like there's no way you can secure that. Like there's you can manipulate electricity. Like the anybody can just go in there and change anything.
Well, I mean, and there's, during probably the 4 years between 2020 and 2024, there were a variety of people looking at it, supposedly getting into a lot of the detail, being able to get a hold of some of the processes that actually took place during the counting of the vote. I mean, some of it you can believe, some of it I mean, it's up to you whether or
And
not
then
you
they were
think it's.
doing what? Were they were doing the mail-in ballots?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a big issue.
Did you just see
Mail
there's like this
mail-in
thing with
ballots.
like Karen Bass? She's going out and paying homeless people $4 or $5 for their vote.
Yeah, I mean that's at least in my opinion that's wrong. And California is really a completely different animal. But I'm not looking at state or local elections. I'm looking at federal elections only. I believe that the states can run their elections the way they want them. If the people of each state wants loosey goosey elections, then so be it. Let them have loosey goosey. If they want tight, well controlled elections, let them have tight, controlled elections.
Okay.
My issue is with federal elections, people who are voted, let's say, as a U.S. senator or a U.S. congressman, say in Kentucky, how they vote in Congress impact our lives here in California. And it's how California state senators and congressional people vote impact the lives of people in Kentucky or Illinois or Florida or all the other states. So the fact that people that are voting on issues that affect all of us but aren't held accountable to the people of that state, to me, there's something wrong with that. And I think what we need to do as a nation is we need to standardize on the way the President of the United States, U.S. United States senators, and U.S. congressional people are elected. That it needs to be standard in every state and the District of Columbia because the way they vote in Congress impacts every life in the United States, even though we don't vote for a majority of those people. And the only way to make sure that the people that are doing that are elected fairly and honestly is to standardize on the election process. And I've taken it one step further because the only way to protect the that process for future generations is to amend the Constitution. And I know that's a big nut to swallow, but
Yeah, interesting.
that's the only way to do it. That way nobody, no politician in the future can change it. And the people get what they want. And so the the people ought to decide this, not local representatives, not non-politicians. It needs to be the people.
It feels like to me it's more of like a it's not even like a like we have a government. It's almost like these it's like who wins. It's that's all they care about is who gets to win and who gets to make a salary.
Well,
Because they don't do anything for us. They just make new laws every year to keep us down. Like it's I'll never own a home. I'll never own a home. I'm 40 years old. I'm
right,
I'm never gonna own a home.
right.
I'm really sad about that. Like what happened? But why do they get to own several homes and
Right.
land and what's
Well, and some of those people that are in
I
make
work. I work really hard. You noticed it right when
right.
you got here.
Well, I worked really hard.
Yeah, and I would wish you would say a little. I know you can't, but I wish you would be so that people know that you're not just nobody.
Well, I made a note of myself
Okay.
just for this situation.
Okay.
So I want people to know I'm an ordinary, run of the mill kind of guy. There is really nothing special about me. Um, I grew up in a middle class family. I have two brothers, one sister. I've got two daughters and two wonderful granddaughters. I had parents that were loving and hardworking. Um, I had to work for the things that I've got through my entire life, supporting my family and doing what I've been able to do. I did not go to a fancy university, and I try to treat people with respect. So I may not agree with people always, i.e., in politics,
Yeah.
but I do respect them
Okay.
for their opinions.
Yeah, you brought lots of notes. So wherever you want to go from here, let's go. I'm
Well,
gonna.
let me just so for your audience, I think they now understand what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to standardize the election process for the President of the United States, for U.S. senators and U.S. congressional people. in every state and the District of Columbia.
So my audience, um, I didn't really understand anything you just said. So, what does standardized mean?
It means that the processes in one state are the same processes used
That's kind of what I
in the
asked.
other
That's kind of
states.
why I asked, like, well, how does it supposed to work in the very beginning? Because, like, I feel like there isn't a process.
Well, the
Like,
way it works now is every state determines how they conduct their own elections. For example, this is a really
okay,
good example. Florida counts their votes in less than a day.
hmm
The most recent election here in California has taken over 2 weeks. Now that's ridiculous. With today's technology, to take 2 weeks to count ballots, there's something very wrong. And so that needs to be, and if the Californian wants it to take 2 weeks to count California ballots, so be it. But when it comes to federal elections that impacts everybody, there needs to be standardization nationally.
do you have a theory of why it takes us so long?
Well, one of the biggest reasons, not even a theory, is because we mail out so many ballots.
Yeah.
I mean, when was the last time? And I don't want to make this a California thing,
Yeah.
but California is
Sorry, I didn't mean to do
a
that.
good example
I'm
of.
derailing you every step.
That's
I'm
okay,
sorry.
but California hasn't cleaned their voter rolls in ages.
Yeah.
So people that have left the state, people that are dead, those ballots are going somewhere. I don't know where, and that probably happens in other states too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
And so there, you're
you're
aiming to find like just a set rule, like this is how we do this. Like,
for federal offices.
isn't that not what mail or not mail-in ballots, but isn't that what the voting process was meant to be? In the whole, like, you go in, you punch a card, and that they count, and that's it. Like, how do you think it with the technology? Like,
Well, I mean, you
I'm
can
so sorry, I got to get this guy out of here.
you can have that's okay. You can have ballots where you mark them and you run them through machines, and again, there were big issues on the problem with machines, but there might be a way to make sure that machines cannot be tampered with. The other way you do it is you count hand by hand. I mean, that's the most secure way of doing it is by counting by hand. And if you need to hire a bunch of people to do it, so be it. I mean, we spend trillions of dollars every year on stuff that most Americans don't even know how it's being spent. We can certainly afford to spend some money to make sure our elections are
I
secure.
think we do. Do we not? Isn't that what our money goes to already? But it's not being done. That's what I'm asking. Do you think it's a voting issue, or do you think it's like a them person? Like they're just corrupt. Like, I don't know.
I
Like,
think it's an administrative problem,
okay,
and that can cover the gamut.
okay,
Um, but yeah, I mean, the best example is Florida can do it in a day.
yeah.
California is still doing it. It's
hmm
been over 2 weeks. I mean, that's ridiculous in today's world. I mean, it just makes absolutely no sense. And then you get people scratching their head, going, what's going on? And then when that happens, you lose the integrity of the election process and the whole outcome of an election. People question whether it was valid or not, and we got to get away from that. Especially at the federal level. Now, again, at the state level, I believe in the people determining how to be governed. So if people in states want to have loosey goosey election processes, so be it. But in a federal election where votes in Congress and the Senate impact everybody's lives, it needs to be the same and it needs to be tightened.
I have this thought in my head. um, so the elephant and the donkey. I don't understand why there's two sides or there's a middle ground. Why can't we just be a country of people voting for somebody who's going to communicate with the rest of the world on our behalf. Is that not what this is about?
Well, I think everybody has different ideas on what they want from government and what government should and shouldn't do. Um, and I think that's a good thing. But again, I think the majority should rule. I'm a strong believer in the majority ruling. That's what this country is all about.
Okay.
Well, it's a democratic republic, so it's not necessarily always 100% more than 50% because of the way our founding fathers set up our elections. But in general, it's pretty much a majority rule type government.
Yeah.
And I can live with that if I know it's honest and it's straightforward and that's what the majority of the people want. So I, again, I'm a really strong believer in we the people. Um, it we the people. It's in our Constitution. It's in our Declaration of Independence, where our founding fathers clearly stated government is by the people.
Okay.
Um, and I personally am a true believer in that. It. Let me read this.
Yep.
It is a right, even given to all Americans by our founding fathers, to determine how we, the people, and can't express that. We, the people. That's you and me.
I agree. I'm on
It
you. This is why I'm like, so like, I'm not,
I
I don't mean to push back on
no, no,
you,
I know,
but
I
I'm like,
know.
I'm frustrated. Like I
No,
said, I don't
I
even participate and I'm getting screwed.
no, I know. But let me finish.
Yes, please.
We the people want to be governed as stated in our Declaration of Independence. It's not the politicians' Declaration of Independence or special interest groups' Declaration of Independence. It's ours. It's we the people.
Yeah.
And the Constitution of the United States belongs to all of us. Again, we the people. It belongs to the people, not politicians. And if it's ours, we as a majority of the people of this country can do what we want with it. So we the people have a constitutional right to pick our national leaders through the voting process, and I strongly believe that. Not individual states, not individual politicians, and not individual wealthy individuals. So it's the people have the right to pick our politicians, not all these special people.
The elite.
T- t- we This is critical. We tell our politicians what we tell our politicians what we want. We can't stress this. We tell our politicians what we want. They don't tell us what we need. And it's a huge difference. They they're supposed to do what we want, not what they think we need.
You know, as you talk, I've been excited for this conversation because like I think we're on the same page. I think you're trying to fight back against exactly what I'm pissed off about.
Yeah. It's and again, this is not a Republican thing. This is not a Democrat thing. This is we the people thing.
Yeah.
This is all of us together because we're not going to fix this if we don't do it all together. You can't have one party trying to do it alone and another party trying to do it alone or do it differently. We have to agree on a path forward, and we need to do it as we the people, as a one group. We need to come together from one important subject that impacts us and our future generations and get these elections fixed so that people have some trust in the results and they can accept then what our federal government is doing.
Do you trust your federal government at all right now?
Not very much, no. I think I think our federal government is extremely wasteful. I think there's a lot of things that are done in our federal government that are very self promoting, self benefiting the individuals that are in power.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if we make it clear to people who run for federal offices that they work for us, the people, and not for themselves and special interest groups, that hopefully we as a country will begin to gain more trust in what our government's doing.
You believe voting is going to do this?
I think it's a step in the right direction. I mean, it's a step in the right direction, making sure that the people that the the people that are in those federal offices are truly what the people wanted.
I think conversations like this, I think it's more important than voting. I think people should stop voting and start having more conversations.
Well, I don't think you can stop voting because then you're throwing the towel in. I mean, at the end of the day, somebody's going to be voted to fill these positions,
Yeah.
and
It's because somebody's going to vote. Unless everybody stops,
R-
it's never going to work.
right. I mean, if only one person voted, you would still
Yeah.
whoever got the vote would be
Yeah.
the winner.
Yeah,
So,
I know. I know it's not realistic. I'm just saying.
so I think you got to do both, but I think we need to come up with a way, and I truly believe we got to come up with a way to have a system in which the outcome of our elections, federal elections, people trust the outcome. They may not agree, but at least they can trust that the winners were truly the winners.
Yeah.
And that's what the majority of the people wanted.
And is that, you have an outline for that, right?
Well, yeah. And I'm not going to, excuse me.
Do your thing. You're fine. You don't have to read it. I just
No.
noticed.
No, there's one other thing. Yes. And oh, yeah, I'm getting to that. Okay.
Sorry, I'm good. I'm all over the place.
That's
I'm always
okay.
like that. This is who I am.
Let me, can I read?
You do whatever you
Let
want.
me read two things.
You speak to the people.
Okay.
You do your thing.
I'm going to read two things. I don't want to bore anybody.
You're not boring nobody.
But this is, and the reason I want to read this is it shows the vision that our founding fathers had.
Okay.
They knew what potentially could happen if government gets out of control.
I think I know what you're getting at. So and I like it.
Let me read this. It's the second paragraph of the Declaration of Independence that was written and approved July 14th, 1776. So 1776, before internet, telephones, and all that fun stuff. Okay? So we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, but among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to ensure these rights, government and instituted among men, deprived from their just power, from the consent of the governed. The governed. The governed means the people. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. That was our founding fathers back in 1776. Now, I'm not suggesting that we abolished the government of the United States.
I am. I am.
But I am suggesting we get our election process in order. Okay. So the other thing I would like to read to you.
All right, you can read. Let me give me one thing.
Okay.
Back then, I imagine the population was a whole lot different. The election process was probably really rough. Horseback ballots probably. I don't really know
Well,
how it worked back then.
well, this was the Declaration of Independence. It was before we even became an independent country.
So when did they start voting for?
I'm guessing, well, it would have been shortly after the Declaration of Independence would have been signed.
And then like from the beginning, there was assassinations and like
Mm-hmm.
almost what would you call that, interference? It's always been kind of corrupt, no?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I can't speak to that.
Yeah.
All I can speak to is that our founding fathers recognized from the very beginning that
If we didn't take control,
if
they
we, the
would.
people, don't take control and pay attention, that things can get out of control.
Yeah.
And I just find it interesting that these these men and women back in 1776 had the foresight and the intelligence to realize that if you're going to create a new country, you need to set up documents to minimize politician and individuals from taking control of your
Yeah.
country, i.e., kings and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So let me read one more.
Yes, sir.
Okay, the Constitution of the United States. So the Constitution of the United States is our governing document at a federal level, and it governs states too. States cannot write laws that do not that conflict with the Constitution of the United States. So the first paragraph of the Constitution states, "We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States." So the reason I wanted to read that was, again, I think it's is amazing how brilliant our founding fathers
It's
were.
interesting. Yeah, they thought of everything. It's
Right.
pretty crazy.
And they talk about ourselves and our posterity.
Yeah.
So they were talking about our future in the Declaration of, or in the Constitution. And one of the reasons I wanted to bring this up was that in the Constitution, there are articles in the Constitution that allow for the Constitution to be amended. And I mean, I can read these, but Article 1, Section 5 is one of the articles that allow for the Constitution to be amended. And Article 7 or Article 5 of the Constitution explains how an amendment actually is is done or is executed or is
Okay.
completed.
Yeah.
So they went through the process of realizing that the Constitution was a living document and that in the future it may need to be amended. And they established exactly how that was to be done. And it's not an easy task by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, they knew that it couldn't be a willy-nilly process, that it had to be a vast majority of the legislatures for something like this to occur.
You think that it can be fixed without an uprising?
Yes. Yes, I
Mm,
do.
okay.
Yeah. No, I think, yeah. I mean, what we're talking about is trying to make the voting process fair. It's not like we're trying to write a document, an amendment that's going to benefit one party over the other party. I mean, the only way this is going to be done is if
Everybody's on board.
everybody gets together and agrees that we need to fix this thing at the federal level and agrees to the language in the amendment.
I feel like a lot of people are giving up on the because like I mean the past 20 years, I mean since I've been alive we've been at war. Um it's been a steady downhill battle for like my age group, like unless you I just feel like a lot of people are giving up like on the trust of the government, because like, I mean, we still have hope. We still want people to go through, but then you see like, I know it's not federal, but the Spencer Pratt thing, like he was leading, and all of a sudden overnight the dude's just out. Like that just how?
Well, again,
We don't trust that it's real. We don't trust that we can trust it. Just like you were saying, like we need to figure this out. I think you're exactly right.
well, keep in mind the Spencer Proud thing is a state issue. So
Yes.
the people of California need to fix that. And that's not what I'm proposing to do at this point.
Yeah.
What I'm proposing to do is to fix the way the president, U.S. senators, and U.S. congressmen are elected. Because if you have the likelihood of, if you have a state where you've got kind of willy nilly voting procedures and processes, um, it's going to affect the outcome of federal offices that, again, impact people that don't even live in the state because of the way we vote in Congress. And that's why, in my opinion, it's so important that we standardize on those processes so that at least at the federal level, we have confidence that what they're voting on is the will of the people. And you may not agree all the time, and neither one of us will, but at least we'll have some level of confidence that the majority of the people in the United States wants it one way or the other. And I can live with that. So let me just, because one of the little bit of kickback that I've gotten from a lot of people, they look at me and go, "Yeah, right, amend the Constitution." Well, the Constitution's been amended 27 times. Now, if you exclude the Bill of Rights, which were the first 10 amendments, and those were actually um, ratified, or all of them were ratified in 1791. And the reason for those was it was the founding fathers realized that the Constitution didn't prevent overreach of the federal government. So that's why the Constitution guarantees us the right of free speech, bear weapons, um, and several other.
Do you feel the freedom to speak how you want, and do you feel like you can bear arms? Do you feel like free to the freedom to do that?
I feel I can speak freely, yes, because I'm right here, right now.
Okay.
I question whether or not some of these gun laws that have been enacted in different states.
If it's federally legal, why is it okay for a state to tell you can't do it?
Well, and that's why a lot of these laws have to go through the Supreme Court. My my view, and if you the right to bear arms was part of um, the 10 amendments,
Mm-hmm.
the bill the Bill of Rights. And the Bill of Rights were written, like I said, it was to protect the people against the government.
Yes.
So I think it's the Second Amendment is the one for the right to bear arms.
Yes, sir.
That amendment, in my opinion, and I bet you if you could go back and ask our founding fathers, it was written to protect we the people against the government.
Mm-hmm.
It was not written to protect us against each other.
Yes. Yes.
And all of these gun laws that are being written now are centered around protecting each other. It's not what the intent of the amendment is. It was so the government couldn't take us over. That's the whole purpose of it.
You don't think that they've already taken us over?
Well, but again, that was the point of that particular amendment. And it's been misconstrued. And maybe if we got some people in office that we all can trust and believe in at the federal level, some of this stuff could either be fixed or at least the amount of this stuff could be reduced.
What's stopping you from jumping in and uh, trying to make a change. I think that a lot of young people will agree with everything you're saying right now. I certainly do.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, you're good. Go ahead and answer it. It's fine.
No, I'm sorry.
Well, maybe it's somebody fun.
It's my brother.
um, so what's stopping you from actually doing something? Like, I know you're. I mean,
I am doing
I know
something.
that's what I'm saying. You're doing a lot. Where do you see yourself maybe falling into it at some point? If somebody asks you, if enough people ask, like, "Hey, yeah, do something," like, would you do it?
I mean, as far as running for an
Yes,
office,
sir.
I would prefer not to do that.
Okay.
But I would certainly
Would you
support.
work for somebody who is
I
in
would.
office?
I would potentially consider something like that,
Okay.
maybe as an advisor or something. But I think it's more than that. I think we need to have a national movement in which people from every state stand up and say, "You, um, federal officers, senators, and representatives, you need to fix this." And it's not one person can't do that. One person cannot do this alone. It's got to be millions of people standing up together and saying, "We want this fixed. We want to be able to trust the results of our elections." And it needs to be a nonpartisan issue. This is one time in what, the last forever almost, that Republicans and Democrats and independents need to push all this other crap aside and come together and unite behind one issue of cleaning up our election procedures for federal offices. Because otherwise, it's not going to work. It takes a three-quarter vote in our government to get an amendment through. And so it needs everybody to talk to their representatives and say, "We support the concept of standardizing the processes and procedures for electing federal offices."
I agree with you on it. I'm skeptical because, like, you see, there are there's, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I see it from the outside. I see what everybody else is talking about. But you see some people, like the Thomas Massey thing, like, it almost seems like he was the only one still holding up to um any sort of integrity. And I'm not I'm not I don't even have an opinion, but it seems like almost like there's nobody with integrity willing to run and go through what it's going to have to take to make the changes.
Well, the only way you do it's the people. It gets back to we the people.
Yeah.
The people need to. This is our government. Remember, this is our government. The politicians don't tell us what we need. We tell them what we want, and we need to stand up and finally take a position as a massive group and say, "We want this fixed," and start working in that direction. Unless we do that as one united group, it won't happen. That's one of the reasons I'm here today, because I realized the first 2 years that I was working on this, I was kind of doing it by myself, and one person can't do it. I mean, I was able to kind of kick it off and come up with a banner and write a song, and um, I wrote hundreds and hundreds of letters to people and never got a response from politicians to musicians to TV hosts to a variety of people, and I never got one response from any of them. I know some of them got it, and I won't tell you why, but I know some of them got it, but they wouldn't. There was not even a response.
So is it? Am I grasping this right? You almost don't want to run for office because you almost don't believe in the machine either. You'd rather come on a podcast and tell your story to get it out to the actual people rather than trusting your writing your letters to your politicians.
No, I no,
Do
No,
you think people they're gonna write? See, and this is exactly what I'm getting at. I just don't think they care.
I think there's a lot of people that care. They just don't know what to
Not the
do.
people, the politicians.
Oh,
When they read those letters, like, does it even affect them?
No, I agree with you. I don't think the politicians care, and I don't think the politicians want this to be fixed.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, no, I don't think they want it fixed,
Yeah,
because if it is fixed, it's going to
their
impact
free ride is gone.
it's going to impact some of them.
Yeah,
And that's why it's going to take the people to stand up, call your congressman, call your senators,
bug them to where they can't even.
call the president,
Yeah,
call TV hosts. I mean, write TV hosts. Just inundate people.
maybe that's why they're so concerned with other things, is because people aren't bugging them enough.
Well, exactly. Yeah, no, I agree 100% with that. Yeah.
Interesting.
I think that's probably correct. So, can we? So, one of the things I did when I started this, probably about a year in, I thought, how can I maybe get the word out? And I thought, I can write a song. And so I got the help of my kids and a little bit of help from AI. And we wrote a song that promotes Vote for America. And I'd like to play it for the people that are listening, because it kind of sends a pretty good message. It's kind of upbeat, so it's kind of fun to listen to. And I think most people would enjoy it.
All right, let's play it.
Okay.
Let me see where we're at. Okay, go ahead.
We on?
Yep, we're good.
Okay. All right. Before we play the song that we wrote to try to inspire people to consider supporting the Vote for America effort, which is what I've called it, I'd like to read this to you. Something I wrote. Freedom isn't free. It requires all of us to work for it. It requires us to be informed on key issues. It requires us to turn off our computer games, turn off our television, set aside our daily issues once every 730 days, and go to our local voting station polls to vote for the candidate of our choice that will govern us. It is our duty as American citizens, we the people, to do this for ourselves, our families, and our future generations. All generations have challenges. One of ours is to ensure our elections are fair, accurate, timely, and transparent. We as Americans do this if we unite as one voice and demand that our politicians adopt and approve the People's Amendment, Amendment 28 to the Constitution of the United States of America. We can play the song.
Okay. I want thoughts from you on that. I want what it means to you. Well, I mean, you said it, but I'm just trying to find like a starting point. Like what do we do?
Well, I've got some ideas here. After
All right, let's do the song.
we got a little list of things that we need to do to maybe kick this off.
All right, let's play the song.
Okay.
In the shadows of our country, there's a whisper in the wind, a call for a new dawn, a place to begin. We're tired of the lies, the games that they play. It's time to stand up, we won't fade away. We've got the power, we've got the voice. Together we stand, we made our choice. This is our moment, this is our call. For the love of our country, for us all. Vote for America, for a future that's bright. Election reform, but let's make it right. Amend the Constitution, change the game, and let you proceed. to the valleys below. Our hearts united, every voice will grow. From the streets of cities to the wide open land, we're coming together hand in hand. We've got the power, we've got the voice, together we stand, we made our choice. This is our moment, this is our call, for the love of our country, for us all. For America, for a future that's bright. Election reform, but let's make it right. Amend the Constitution, change the game. Election procedures that are made the same. No more deception, no more delay. For America, let's lead the way. From the mounds of power, we'll make it known. With the strength of many, we're not alone. Together we're stronger, together we fight for the dream of tomorrow, for what's right. We've got the power, we've got the voice, together we stand, we've made our choice. This is our moment, this is our call, for the love of our country, for us all. For America, for a future that's bright. Election reform, let's make it right. Amend the Constitution, change the game. Election procedures that are made the same. No more deception, no more delay. For America, let's lead the way. For the People's Amendment, 28th in line. In a land of freedom, we'll define, with courage and honor, a future that's bright. For America, we will win the fight. For America, we will win the fight. For the People's Amendment.
Kind of a scraggler there.
So, what I've gathered from you, you're so soft spoken, but I feel like you're screaming at the top of your lungs.
Okay.
Am I correct in saying that?
Well-
Is that how you feel?
No, I wouldn't say I'm screaming at the top of my voice. I can be very soft spoken, but I'm also very self assured.
I feel like you're trying to like raise this awareness to the younger generations that something's on fire.
Well, there's some truth to that. I mean, the younger generation is the generation that's going to have to live with this unless it gets fixed.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a senior,
Yeah.
and so the young folks are the ones who really need to kind of step up. We all do, but
Why do you care so much?
because I love this country. I've lived in 4 other countries, worked in 4 other countries, traveled pretty extensively, and without a doubt, this is the best place ever.
Why don't other people care as much as you do?
I think a lot of people care. They just, they're busy with their daily lives.
They're
they-
not going to have daily lives though
Well,
if they don't.
You're right, and hopefully this kind of helps wake them up a little bit. I think a lot of people have no idea how to even deal with something of this magnitude. I mean, I certainly didn't. I mean, I bitched.
You've clearly taken a lot of time out of your day to like dig in and come up with like the understanding. It almost takes that like
Oh, I spent hours and hours and hours digging through stuff and researching stuff and learning stuff. And if I go back to who I am,
mhm.
that's not something I typically do. I'm not a bookworm. I don't ever read a book. I'm very inquisitive. I love asking questions. People that used to report to me,
Yeah.
I used to drive them crazy because I was never afraid to ask a question. There are no dumb questions. The only dumb questions are the ones nobody asks.
Yeah.
You can't be afraid to ask questions. Don't feel. I mean, somebody's going to have the answer, so don't feel bad by the fact that you didn't know,
Yeah.
but make an effort to learn. And that's one of the things that hopefully this will begin to do, is to make people aware and teach people what's going on and what can be done to fix it.
You brought a lot of cards, and you have. Where can people find any of that stuff?
Well, one of the things that I did, I have spent an incredible amount of time working on this thing. And then I stopped after the 2020, well, a little bit before the 2024 elections, because I just didn't see that I was making very much progress. And so just recently I thought, well, I'll make another run at it. But one of the places that you can get in touch with me or get in touch with Vote for America is up here on the banner. I do have a website. It's votes with an S, votesforamerica.com. It's actually a website. It's a little bit outdated. It does need to be updated, but in general, the information in there is still relevant.
Okay.
And so you can also send a text message, and in the site, it shows what the ad or the email address is. I think it's votedforamerica.com
Okay.
or votedamerica@gmail.com. And you can get in touch with us that way. Those are probably the two best ways.
Gotcha. Do you have Instagram or anything like that?
No, I don't.
Okay.
See, and those are some of the things I don't know how to do,
Mhm.
that other people probably could be much more
I've
helpful.
learned. My mom. I don't use TikTok,
I don't either.
but I think there's a lot more elderly and younger people on there than the middle age group. I'm learning. I don't know that for sure. I know that I know that my mom loves it, and she swears by the. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. The social media stuff is hard for me. I'm still trying to learn it as well.
Well, I am too. Yeah.
But I think that it's important if you're trying to get your message across,
Right.
because, like you said, the younger generations are the ones that are dealing with this, and that's
Right.
why I asked you why you care, because they seem like they don't.
Man, again, I think, they're living their lives, and one of these days they're going to wake up and realize that things aren't the way they should be. I think a lot of young people know. Again, they're so busy with their lives that they just don't know what to do about it, and they accept it for what it is.
Are you afraid that it's going to have to break in order to rebuild?
I hope not.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if it breaks, what a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. It needs to be fixed before it breaks, without a doubt. One other thing, for the people who want to share the song,
Yes.
you can find it on YouTube at Vote for America Song, and it's on there. Share that with people. Get the word out. It's a way to get the word out that it's
I
going
wasn't
on.
trying to end yet. I wanted you to give me your ideas on how to start this fixing thing. You told me that you have some ideas.
So, yes, I do. Let me just read a few of the accomplishments that I did do when I was active in it a couple of years ago, and I was kind of doing this by myself.
Yes, please.
I did write numerous letters to politicians, business leaders, musicians, entertainers, TV news anchors, professional athletes. I even wrote one to Bud Light and sent a drawing of a can that they could have printed that had Vote for America on it. You can go to the Vote for America website, or we created a website, I should say. I created a website, votes with an S for America.com. We do have the email address, votedforamerica@gmail.com. I have developed what I would consider a recommended Amendment 28.
Is that on there? Or do we have that here?
It's there. It's very extensive. It's a bit of a brain dump. I think there's probably a little bit too much, but
I got you.
it was a way to get some thoughts down. But I mean, in general, we would set one day.
You know, I know you don't want to read it.
I can read it.
Could I? But
I've got a highlight of what I thought the
yeah, I
first 20
mean,
were.
I I think that anybody who's stuck through this far probably wants to hear it.
Okay. So again, there's actually 31 items in the full version, but some of them are a little bit detailish. So I've got a list here of 19, which is kind of the meat of it.
Okay. Is there a place where you can send this to somebody if they wanted to find it? Like, do you have this?
It's on the website.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me just read these. So election day would be the second Tuesday of November. The election day would be declared a national holiday, and I would even consider making it 2 days in a row. But it would definitely be a national holiday so that people have no excuse not to get up
Yeah.
and go
It'd
vote.
almost be like a fun thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I got you.
Yes. Voting would be a very specific time. I'm saying 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. local time.
That might be a little back up there. Some long lines.
Yeah.
Well, if you're doing it by like a device now,
Well, and if they
and if it was
knew,
secured,
there's no reason if it's a federal election you can't have more voting polls.
yeah. Oh, yeah, you're exactly right.
You know that
Alright.
this can be worked.
See, I'm gonna make notes on this. while you
Okay.
go through.
So I'm saying only U.S. citizens 18 years or older shall be allowed to vote. You must be registered to vote in person. Registration to vote shall end 5 p.m. local time on Friday the day before the election. Approved personal ID shall be required to vote at the voting station. States shall ensure easy access to voting stations and locations. Absentee ballots may be requested and received no later than 21 days before Election Day.
It says no earlier on mine.
Oh, it is no earlier than 21 days before Election Day and returned no later than the Election Day. So what that means is no ballot showing up after Election Day. They will be discarded. Remote unsecured ballot boxes shall not be allowed. Ranked choice voting shall not be allowed. The number of ballots printed in each state shall not exceed the number of registered voters.
That's interesting.
States and District of Columbia shall develop and utilize a secure chain of custody for the ballots. Voting shall be observed by U.S. citizens representing all political parties on the ballot. Counting shall be counted by hand only. Ballot harvesting shall not be permitted. Buying and selling of ballots shall not be permitted. The results of the general election shall be announced by the following day at noon. Violation of any of these clauses associated with Amendment 28 shall result in stiff penalties. And in the actual thing, I've got detail, but I didn't want to get too crazy about it.
So I know you keep talking about federal, but I think that the states should. I think this is actually a really good outline on what I think it should all be the same.
Ideally, that would be I would agree, but I don't have any jurisdiction over what the state of Kansas does.
Gotcha. You're fighting because you feel like you have a chance.
Well, it's federal. What federal officers do, senators, presidents, and congressional people, the way they vote in Washington, D.C. impacts everybody's lives. Now, the way a state senator in California votes doesn't impact somebody that lives in Wyoming at all.
Okay.
So that's why I've made that distinction. The, the state or the federal people impact everybody, no matter where they live, no matter where they hold their office. They impact everybody's lives. And therefore, the election process should be the same in each state.
Is there a way to hold those people accountable now for where we've ended up?
I don't know. I know that there's been attempts.
Is that what the whole problem is? Is the lack of accountability? Like, what if they were gonna go to jail for making the country worse? Then would they try better to make it like?
Yeah, I think some of that is kind of what's the right word? It's not a qualitative thing. It's more of a quantitative thing. It's more of a qualitative thing.
Yeah.
And that when you get into law, and I'm not a lawyer, but when you get into law, if something's kind of willy-nilly and not specifically stated, then it's always open for interpretation. And that's why I think it's important for federal elections that it be clearly stated how the elections are to be conducted and what's acceptable and what isn't acceptable.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, so I think that I know you said you don't want to run for office, but that's the problem. Is people like you won't, and people like off the street will. They don't. You look at how much work you think that I don't know that any of our politicians are going out of their way to spend their own time to do this with their own money. They're getting paid to like you said, willy-nilly through this. But I think it's people like you that should be running. And I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just saying in general, like, I know a lot of smart people that aren't doing something about it. And I don't have kids. I don't have a family. I don't really have anything to throw in the into the stakes, so maybe I should do it. I don't know. I don't think that I would be a good politician, but
I'll support you.
But looking at what you've done so far, I feel like you've proved more of your work than any of people in charge right now. Like, I don't see any of this.
Again, I'd be more than willing to work with someone.
Yeah.
I just, I'm a senior. I mean, I think it would be better to have somebody a little bit younger.
Yeah.
That can stay in office for a longer time than I would.
Do you see any of these younger prospects as?
I don't know.
No.
But I know they're out there. There's a lot of smart people out there. We just need to find, and we the people know if somebody's an intelligent individual, especially if they're themselves. If you have a politician that you can tell isn't being themselves up front and in front of the people, then you ought to just discard them.
So the hard question, federally, how you feel about where we are as a country? Are you on board? You off board? Do you think that there's too much influence from the outside? How do you?
I think we waste a tremendous amount of money on stuff that's not necessary. I think militarily we are the ultimate in military. So from a defense standpoint, security standpoint here in the U.S., I think we're in pretty good shape. I think we lack a lot of politicians that are sincere and true to themselves and are more concerned about what donors and rich people think and they're looking for
Money's corrupted the politics. Politics
right,
wasn't about money. Where'd the money come from?
right. And I think the other thing that we're going to have to deal with it is our debt, our national debt. I don't think people understand what that truly means.
I was just talking about that. We're 4 trillion or something, and then Elon Musk has a trillion in his account. Like he's more of a government than we are.
No, we're up. I don't know what the latest number is. We're
47 or something.
47 trillion. It's a
Yeah.
huge, huge number.
If you ask ChatGPT, it'll tell you money only exists because people play along. Like,
Exactly. Yeah, because there's nothing that backs the dollar anymore. I mean, what used to back the dollar was gold and silver, primarily gold.
yeah, but does currency even exist anywhere at this point other than the fact that we play along with it?
Probably not. No.
That's hardcore. That's crazy.
Well, I mean, if people lost confidence in the U.S. dollar, especially internationally, we would be in a world of hurt. I mean, and that's why we need to get our budget under control. We cannot keep spending deficits. And I would bet money that if you had the time, the number of people, and they all had a common goal of taking our federal budget and going line item by line item, which would be very exhaustive, um, we could reduce our federal budget significantly and really not give up a whole lot. We waste so much money on stuff that doesn't help anybody.
I think you're right. Like if we just all these people that are on unemployment, if you rather than just handing them random checks, gave them a new job, like hey, we know you're not really a welder, but you can come sift through
Oh,
audits.
without a doubt, that's another passion of mine. We need to figure out how to put our own people to work.
Yeah.
We need to start educating our own people and not letting all of
Why isn't
all
how to
these.
change a car like a class in school?
There should be in high school. There should be all kinds of tech classes where you could go and learn a skill that you could go out and be productive and make money and
It's all about money.
and
Our whole country is just about money.
right. But I mean, at least you would learn a skill
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
that you could do something
is
with.
it only because like after you get out of high school, somebody can start a company that teaches you how to change tires? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, why are we not building our own country? Why are we just leeching off of each other?
No, I agree. Yeah, we have so much potential,
Yeah,
but we're not using it, and we're
on the same page. I just
we're not
have a different way of thinking about it.
we're
I
not
think
teaching our people. We spend a lot of money teaching people that don't live in this country or aren't citizens of this country.
we pay them to come to school here.
Priority for universities and colleges that are federally funded should be 90+% Americans, because we're paying for those universities. We're paying for those. We're paying the salary of all the professors, all of the administrators, all of the stuff. And why aren't we? If we the people are paying for it, why aren't we
Allowed to even go to the
why
school?
aren't we training and teaching the people? Instead, we're not. We have priorities elsewhere. Now, I'm not saying completely eliminate people from other countries to come in here and go to school, but it should be a very small percent.
Do you do you think that there's like a master agenda?
No,
No.
that would take too much coordination and effort. No, I think it's very random. I mean, on certain little things, yes, but not totally nationally.
Okay. You want to go check on her?
Sure. For this?
Whatever you want.
Okay.
What's next?
So I'll run through the accomplishments real quick that I've already done, just to recap. So again, numerous hundreds of letters have gone out. I created the Vote for America website, which we talked about. Got an email that we've talked about. I've drafted a potential amendment. I have trademarked a logo, so the Vote for America logo has been trademarked, so it can't be taken away from us. Wrote a song to kind of help promote the concept. I created a legal entity, an LLC, and I've consulted attorneys to make sure that what I'm doing is, um, I think my biggest fear is that somebody else could pick it up and spin it some other way, and I didn't want that to happen.
I think that's a big thing now. Because there's a lot of creators like you, like that are like wanting to change things, and people want to do that.
Uh huh.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, those.
you're gonna have to stay on top of this.
Yeah. So let's see here. Oh. So here's kind of what I think we need to do. We need to create an initial organization, and when I mean an organization, I'm not somebody who believes in
Like a gang.
creating a massive group of people. I'm talking maybe 5 or 6 people.
I think we need a gang. I think it's a good thing.
Well, eventually, but you've got to get a group together that kind of organizes the path forward without having way too many people. And if you get the right people, you can do that. Because when I was managing stuff, projects primarily, I was a project manager. I made it a point to keep my core group relatively small and gave that group a lot of responsibility. And that's kind of what I see, at least initially, trying to start this is find competent people, small group of them, and then figuring out what's needed after that instead of trying to bring in a bazillion people and have chaos.
I agree with that. And you said this earlier. Well, you didn't say this. I was thinking this earlier, and this is why I asked if like there was like too much government, because whenever they wrote like the Declaration of Independence, there was probably enough people in there. They spoke with their voices.
Mm-hmm.
There was a small amount of people in there where there was, and everybody listened to each other,
Right.
and what they had to say,
Right.
and they all brought their serious ideas.
Yep.
Now there's so much chaos, and it's almost like a show. It's almost like going to like a mega church.
Right. And I mean, if I'm still involved, which I hope to be, I don't want people in there that are trying to just simply promote themselves. That's not the objective of this.
No, not at all.
It's to promote this. I mean, a good coordinator or manager is somebody that stays in the background and makes sure everything is moving in the right direction and is well greased and oiled, and things are functioning. You're not trying to be in the limelight and being the hero. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for people that are willing to get down and figure out a way to move forward with this thing. So I'm thinking like a coordinator, manager, an organizer, somebody that can help manage the website, someone that's got some political contacts, somebody that's got a little bit of advertising promotion experience, somebody with a little bit of fundraising, because we are going to need some money to do this.
Yeah.
And hopefully somebody that's either got contacts with TV, radio, or is involved with TV, radio. But those kinds of people, and preferably one of each initially.
Uh-huh.
And then short-term plan, we need to update the website because it is a little bit stale at this point. We need to develop an execution plan, and the group of 4, 5, 6 people I mentioned above would do that. And then also develop an initial budget so we have a general idea of what we would need from a resource standpoint to execute some of these initial things. And then, once you get to that and you get that all pulled together, then you start branching out and making the whole thing work. But you can't put the horse before the cart until you kind of get some of this stuff sorted out. or the cart before the horse, however you're supposed to say it.
I'm not sure either.
I think it's the cart before the horse.
See, I want to own a horse. That's all I want out of life. I just want to own a horse.
Okay, there you go.
I mean, that would make me so happy. Jesus.
Well,
Well,
so
Leland,
that's kind of it.
I appreciate you coming and doing this. I know you don't want to run, so vote Eric Vono for mayor. Write me in. I'll run.
There you go.
I got somebody backing me already. So
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I try to end every episode on something positive.
Okay.
So tell these kids what you think.
Tell
What do you got? What's something positive for the youth of what's going to have to deal with what everything you just said? Like is
okay. That's easy. To the kids, you live in the greatest country on this planet, and we've got some of the best people that live in this country, and you need to nurture it. You need to take care of it. You gotta work to keep it the best, not only from a country standpoint, but from a people standpoint. But you all have a bright future if you keep your eye on the ball and you get involved.
you can make a change. You're not your mouth is not empty. You're worth something.
That's absolutely true. You can make a change. It only takes
You just got to do it.
one or two of you to get out there and do it.
Vote
Yes.
Eric for mayor. Bye,
Thank-
guys.
Thank you.